the happy world of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good afternoon. This is the 5FMA News at 12:45. The headlines. A banker arrested for fraud and money laundering involving over 16.8 million kwacha. Winter Kabimba calls for a holistic approach in the fight against corruption. Gabon junta leader turns down presidential salary. And with the news in detail, my name is Judith MWAPE. The Drug Enforcement Commission, through its Anti-Money Laundering Investigations Unit, has arrested and charged a banker for fraud and money laundering involving over 16.8 million kwacha. DEC Public Relations Officer Hossein Khan says the suspect is believed to have issued instructions to the bank's cash management operations and the cash-in-transit vendor to deliver cash to non-client beneficiaries who were later handing over the money to him after receiving it. Mr. Khan says during the same period, the suspect is believed to have engaged in money laundering by concealing the true source of the stolen funds. He says the suspect has since been charged with unauthorized access to data contrary to Section 49 of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act No. 2 of 2021 of the laws of Zambia, theft by servant contrary to Section 278 of the Penal Code Cap 87 of the laws of Zambia, and money laundering contrary to Section 7 of the Prohibition and Prevention of the Money Laundering Act No. 14 of 2001 as amended by Act No. 44 of 2010. He says in the course of investigations, the Commission seized properties belonging to the suspect, including 2 motor vehicles, 2 flats in Lusaka's Chalala area, and Ngwe. He says the suspect is on bond and is expected to appear in court soon.
During the same period, Muhango is believed to have engaged in money laundering by concealing the true nature or source of the stolen funds. Muhango has since been charged with unauthorized access to data, theft by servant, and money laundering. In the course of investigations, the Commission seized properties belonging to the suspect, including 2 motor vehicles, 2 flats in Lusaka's Chalala area, and a house in Chongwe. 2 kwacha bank accounts with a total balance of over 167,000 kwacha and 1 United States dollar account.
Opposition Economic Front Party leader Winter Kabimba has challenged the Anti-Corruption Commission to strike a balance in its fight against corruption, dealing with all the categories of people cited in the Auditor General report. Speaking when he featured on the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue program, Mr. Commission is obsessed with corruption involving politicians as compared to civil servants and traditional leaders. He has urged the Commission to ensure that efforts are made in investigating directors in various ministries who have built mansions beyond their perceived earning in Chalala, and when government takes into consideration efforts to improve corruption activities as seen in countries such as Zambia as compared to others with strong United Kingdom.
Just find out how many directors of government, director level, and PSs have put up mansions way beyond, their emoluments. Then they will come to realize the extent of corruption in this country. So to seemingly harass Bowman Rusambo as an example and a few others, it's not what is going to solve the problem.
In the meantime, Mr. Kabimba has regretted that the UPND has swayed from its promises, citing the increase in the cost of living and pockets of violence, which the party assured to solve.
So we want the HH that this IMF program you are jumping about, being excited about, Bwana, will not solve the problems. It will compound these problems. Isn't that what is happening? Yes, it is. That's what is happening. So this leadership that you can solve the existing economic problems using neoliberal theories, the same mechanism that created the problem, is difficult to understand for people, for people like me.
Finance and National Planning Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane says while the cost of living has increased, the prices of commodities is escalating at a slower pace compared to years ago. Speaking during the public forum on the rising cost of living in Zambia, hosted by the Chapter 1 Foundation, Dr. Msokotwane says the rise in commodity prices was so fast during the previous regime. He says, therefore, there is an improvement as the situation could have been worse than now. The minister has further inflation is expected to reduce to a single digit in a couple of months.
Am I happy that inflation is still running at 12%? No, I'm not happy. Our goal is to push the changes in prices in the region of 6 to 8%. Okay? 6 to 8%, that is our goal. Prices keep on rising, but rising even slower than what we are doing today. That's what the government is committed to say. I think that's the first point I wanted to make.
The civil society organization Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance has appealed to the government to enhance its efforts towards reducing poverty in vulnerable families, such as family-headed households in the country. Speaking in an interview with 5FM News, CSO Sun Country Coordinator Daniel Kalala is concerned over the report by the Zambia Statistics Agency that female-headed households are still likely poorer than the male-headed households in the country. Mr. Kalala says that the report calls for consolidated efforts through the implementation of robust programs that aim at driving force towards reducing gender inequality and less women empowerment opportunities in the country. He adds that the government and the private sector should work closely by bridging the existing gap of empowering more women in the formal and informal sector for them to meet their daily requirements like men.
Female-headed households are likely to be poorer than male-headed households. Again, another area of concern for a country that has been pushing so much for gender equality. Why are we still talking about this disparity? Why should women be disadvantaged? Why should women fail to meet their daily requirements? So it actually points to the need to intensify our fight to ensure that there is gender equality, not only in policy documents and statements, but in reality.
In other stories trending this afternoon, governance expert Isaac Mwanza has advised the Patriotic Front to be mindful of somber events such as funerals as they campaign so as to avoid politicizing such events but pass a message that uplifts the lives of those mourning. Stakeholders in the education sector have described as shocking revelations by the Auditor General's report that some teachers with proper qualifications were appointed in the civil service following the last teachers' recruitment process. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Zambia Association of Manufacturers, ZAM, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Jiangxi International Chamber of Commerce, JXICC, aimed to deepen economic cooperation and commercial ties through enhanced dialogue and collaboration between ZAM and JXICC. The MOU was signed during the official launch of the Jiangxi Multi-Facility Economic Zone in Chibombo and will be relevant to the growth of the manufacturing sector due to the significant potential it creates for accelerating industrialization and job creation through enhanced mutually beneficial interaction between Zambia manufacturers and members of JXICC. ZAM and JXICC will, in the initial stages of implementing the MOU, prioritize collaboration by focusing on the following industries: agro-processing, electrical engineering, leather and leather products, wood and wood products, metal fabrication and engineering, textiles and garments, and e-commerce. ZAM Vice President Chipego Zulu says the partnership creates a tremendous opportunity for knowledge exchange and enhanced business opportunities between the Zambian manufacturers and members of the JXICC.
Opportunities between local manufacturers and the members of the Jiangxi International Chamber of Commerce. In this regard, it is anticipated that the signing of this MOU will not only strengthen and foster business linkages, but contribute to an increase in both local and foreign direct investments, particularly in the Jiangxi Multi-Facility Economic Zone, and in so doing support the growth of the Zambian manufacturing sector. In line with the government's aspirations to mirror the successes of the zone concept from Jiangxi in Zambia, we remain cognizant of the potential impact of this MOU to poverty reduction through the promotion of value addition to agricultural.
And now on foreign news, Gabon's military leader, General Aligu Ngauma, has said he is giving up his salary as president and will only receive a wage as commander of the Republican Guard. He became the interim president following the overthrow of President Ali Bongo in August, who said General aware of the stories and many expectations of the Gabonese people. Here's a roundup from the BBC.
The International Atomic Energy Agency have taken samples of fish and seawater from a port near the Fukushima nuclear power plant for the first time. Japan has been taking regular samples since it began releasing wastewater from the stricken facility in August. Russia says its foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, has met the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang. Earlier, Mr. Lavrov criticized the US and its allies, Japan and South Korea, for pursuing what he called a dangerous military policy towards North Korea. A court in Pakistan has granted protective bail to the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif ahead of his planned return from self-imposed exile. That means he can't be arrested before a scheduled court appearance next week. Mr. Sharif, who's been living in London, became a fugitive when he failed to appear before a Pakistani court in 2019 after his conviction for corruption.
And finally, in sports news, Youth, Sports and Arts Minister Elvis Nkandu has congratulated the Zambia Women's Rugby Sevens national team for improving their ranking to 4th on the continent. This follows the results of the African Rugby Women's Sevens Olympic tournament held in Tunisia, where the team lost to Uganda in the 3rd and 4th playoffs to see them finish 4th place. The minister says despite not qualifying for the Paris 2020 Games, government is proud of the ladies for putting up a splendid performance. He has underscored the need for continued support and the team all the best as they gear up for future activities. And that sporting item brings us to the end of the news this afternoon. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. A banker arrested for fraud and money laundering involving over 16.8 million kwacha. Winter Kabimba calls for holistic approach in the fight against corruption. Gabon junta leader turns down presidential salary. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. I'm Judith MWAPE. Good afternoon.